my life pants, that game plan. Show out like a jotter, pop out like a cutter. Telling the kick rock, skipping the course, squares like hopscotch. This gonna be my mood to my beat drop. Putting my boogie shoes and my diddy boots, ain't no stop. I'ma make the rest of my life live. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Congratulations on the celebration. I know I'm dope without the need of a validation. No congratulations on no celebration. I know I'm dope without the need of a validation. Yeah. If having hope is dangerous, call me evil Knievel. You leading on the wrong side, living with pens and needles. So lethal, made Shane Black wanna write a sequel. Cause I snuggle my dream till it's seen as illegal. And I still probably will, cause I can never give up. I got my goals calling me, how could I never pick up? Either we make up or just break up. With the snake hits, get the rake up. Yeah, selfish, I'ma cake up. If I don't shake me to wake up. Let my depression catapult me to succession. Shine a light on my imperfections like a projection. Every struggle and lesson, your issues ain't your oppression. Never got a question, keep pushing me to progression like I'ma make the rest of my life live. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Congratulations on the celebration. I know I'm dope without a need of validation.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Happy Thursday. Y'all know how we do. Here's Thursday night. It is Friday Junior, and we are glad to be in the house. I don't know about you, but this has been the longest week of weeks. And I'm ready for it to be over. I think I am ready for summertime. And yeah. So I hope you all had an amazing week. Welcome to Thursday night on the Bravo with Sheila Network. You know it's me, your girl, Lady Dawn B, in the building, and I am excited that we have made it to June. Come on, somebody. I'm super excited because the month of June, we have dedicated to our men folk. Come on, let's give them some love. Ain't nothing like the men, right? Come on, ladies. I know you know what I'm saying. And we got to give them some love and some support. And so we are excited because this month we are going to have the men are going to be on every Thursday night. Doesn't matter what it is. But they're going to be here. And one of the things this month that I wanted to do was graft into our conversations some African-American authors of the male persuasion. And we're going to come on and talk with them and support them and share with them. And I am excited about the conversations that we are about to have and get into. So the Thursday night crew is loading up in the back. And we are about to get into it. But of course, as always, you know, we have to do a few things first before I bring up our special guest on tonight. That's right. We got company this month, y'all. So I would say be on your best behavior, but I know I'm not. So I'm not going to expect you to either. You know how we do on Thursdays. We keep it 1000% on point. So again, welcome everyone to Thursday night. Me, your girl, Lady Dawn B, on the Bravo with Sheila Network. We pay homage to the curator of this amazing space, Pastor Sheila Ingram herself. You know, I call her my Auntie Bravo, and we give her love. I always thank her for yielding this captain's chair to me every Thursday so I can spend some good old time with y'all. You know, here we have a conversation. We're not here to convict nor to convince anyone, but we are here to have conversations so that we can grow and that we can glean from one another so that we can be in better relationships with one another. But the most important relationship that we can have and better is the one that we have with ourselves, right? Absolutely. Because when we're better, we show up in spaces better. So we just want to dialogue. We're not here to be professional on tonight, although some people on our team are licensed therapists, counselors, and professionals. But when we come in this space, we're just coming to talk and have conversation. We're sharing from the well of our experiences. It's real talk with real people with real resolutions. It's as simple as that. So while most of us are believers, this is not a Christian network. However, whatever your moral compass is, we welcome it. We appreciate you sharing your thoughts, your feelings, and your opinions. Our number one rule, request, and absolute I want to say guidelines of this network is respect. So we ask that everyone would be respectful in the chat, be respectful in your sharing, and respectful to one another. If disrespect is found displayed, whether it be on the panel or comments, unfortunately, but fortunately, we will have to remove you from the space because we want to keep it as integral as we possibly can. And with that being said, let me introduce you to the greatest moderator to ever do it in these YouTube streets. She belongs to us. You know her. You love her. She is Anania Kenya, and she is in the building. Of course. How you doing, beautiful? Good to see you. Thank you for always being on your post, and salute to you. We appreciate you. So she is, she's your greeter, but she's also security. And so, she will happily click that button if we have to. But thankfully, we haven't had to do that. And we all keep it, we keep it where it should be. Adult, grown, mature conversation. So with that being said, on tonight, we're going to get into this good old conversation. And those of you who are up in the silent section, the expensive seats, want to invite you as always to come on down to the chat. It's safe down here. You are happy. You can join us and be a part of this conversation. We got security. Don't worry. You safe. You safe. You safe. What's that you saying, Nate? Oh, well, thank you, darling. I try to do a little, little something for the summertime, as we kicking it off. And, I see Big Brother down in the... I'm behaving. I'm not all sparkly and shiny. I went with pearls today, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I said I'm not gonna bling y'all out because it's the men. So I want to, you got to add a little something for the men. And June, thank you, Ine. June is actually Men's Mental Health Month. So in all seriousness, I do want to pause for a second before we get into this conversation and before I introduce our special guest. And I just want to point out that, ladies, with June being Mental Health Awareness Month for men, I want to ask you a favor. If you would, do this for the men in your life. Don't even ask them what is wrong. Our men, they carry more than they speak on. They deal with more than they share, and they just hold it in. And sometimes the men may seem a little off. Sometimes we know that they're stressed. But above all, I don't even want us to ask them. I don't care if it's your father, your husband, your boo, your boyfriend, your son, whomever it is, whatever the male is in your house. But let's just do this favor. Let's love on our men this month in a whole different kind of way. Without even asking him, are you okay? Is everything all right? Because most men are going to say yes. Ladies, you know how we do. We could be all messed up and someone asks, are we okay? We're like, yeah, I'm fine. And men bottle so much in. So do me this one favor. Without even asking, is he okay? Are you all right? Do you want to talk? Create an environment for him that he'll be able to just come in and sit down. Do something special and unexpected for him that he's not even looking for. Just find a day in the week just to give him some alone time just for himself. Look, draw a bath for him, light some candles, set up his favorite snack and turn the baseball, the football, whatever, the basketball, whatever his sport is. Just do something out of the ordinary that will allow him to come in and de-stress mentally without us asking questions, without us putting pressure. Just put the dinner, make sure he comes in and the dinner is on the table. Can we just do that for our men? Because I feel like if that's the man in your life, he should be worth that and then some. So I just wanted to put that out there for June being Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. And so let's get ready to get into this conversation. And I see my girl Lisa's in the building. Let's talk about it. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. How are you doing? Yeah, that's talk that talk. That's right. Listen, if we don't take care of our men, who will? I'm gonna leave that right there because that's a conversation for another night. And tonight is not that night, but we don't know. We're gonna tap into. But men, we salute you. We love you. We care. And ladies, let's do what we need to do to back them up and make sure that they are good and safe in every type of way we can imagine. So without further ado, on tonight to kick off the month of June, y'all know the motto when it comes to the men's lounge is something happens when men speak. Well, on tonight, we got some men in the house that are going to speak, and I am excited to welcome this brother right here. He is in the person of Melvin Phillips Jr., and he has written an amazing book that we're going to dialogue about tonight. We're going to talk about the issues, and it is called What? I'm Divorced. Oh, there we go. Now what? I know you probably can't see because I got a whole bunch of glare going, but don't worry about it. It's right here. I'm divorced, now what? So without further ado, let me bring to the platform, all right, the greatest to ever do it of all times, okay? He's NYC from the BK, although you know the BX is what it is, but we're going to talk about that later. I ain't going to start. Welcome to the platform. Welcome in, Mel. What's up? How are you?
What's up, lady dog? What's up, girl? You all right?
I'm already starting trouble, right?
Yeah, it's all right. I'll let you rock. I'm gonna let you
Um,
rock. You know what I mean?
It's okay. It's okay. Brooklyn, I ain't mad at y'all. Y'all got it. Y'all got it. I'll give it to you. I will admit, hands down. Listen, Brooklyn, man, y'all got swag like none other. I give it to
Yeah,
y'all. How are you doing on tonight, sir?
I'm great. I'm great. I'm good. And just riding the waves, man. No complaints.
All right.
No complaints. Yeah.
Well, I love that. We are glad to have you. Welcome. And although this is your first time, we hope it won't be your last time. Usually,
Hmm.
once you come in, you family automatically after that.
Okay.
So
Appreciate it.
No doubt. It's all love. So tonight, I want to thank you first of all for kicking off the month of June with for the men,
Hmm.
and for coming in. And secondly, I really want to thank you for orchestrating this book and putting together this collection of testimonials as you have deemed it. So, for those who don't know, again, he is the author of "I'm Divorced. Now What?" And
Hmm.
what I love about it is that it's the men speaking. Well, he's one of the men speaking. He's the only man in the book. There are other women, but you don't get to hear men sharing their feelings about divorce and what that process is and what that looks like and how they feel. And we just assume sometimes that, men are just taking it like it's, real light work and just going on. And we forget that they have emotions too. So thank you for spearheading, for launching this out, and for
Hmm.
speaking up on behalf of the men. Now, let me ask
Hmm.
you, now that I've said all of that, and before we
Gotcha.
get to it, we
Uh-huh.
want to and gotta pause because the curator of this space, the presidente of the network is in the building, and the person
Okay.
Pastor Sheila. She says blessings to the chat and guests. Great topic. Have a great show. Thank you, Auntie Bravo. We are gonna do what we
Yes.
do. And Ane is saying hello to you. Oh,
Hey, blessings, blessings. Love is love. I love y'all.
we love
Love
you too.
y'all.
We hope that you feel that. Okay,
Yeah.
so let me ask you. Let me start by this. What made you write this book?
Um, well, I ain't gonna take because I could talk. You see what I'm saying?
It's,
So I
it's
ain't
really not.
gonna take too. I ain't gonna take too much. We home, so I was going. I'm going to just lay it out. But what made me write this book was looking at my own faults in the previous situation of my divorce, and when I lived in Atlanta at the period of time, I wanted to express what do I do now from a 25-year marriage. You know, um, I'm used to doing things, kids, the ex-wife, and just doing ritual things, trips, vacation, all that, until it came to a point where I put a little hole in it. I damaged it a little bit, and I had to figure it out. It came with prayer, but then it came with self evaluation, you know, purifying myself. And that's what I had to do at the period of time that I wrote the book. And I was going to put it out years ago when I lived in Atlanta 5 years ago. And I moved here, last year to where I'm at now, in Philly. Um, and it was just the timing. That was it. It was just the timing that I put it out. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So timing is good, and it is a good time, and it's a good topic. Because again, most women, we talk about everything all the time. You
Yeah.
know, we have spaces for us. as a lot of men say, women, y'all have all these spaces. And I keep trying to tell men, don't be fooled by the number of spaces we had because they're not working.
Right.
If those
Right.
spaces were working, we wouldn't need as many. You know what I
That's
mean?
that's that's right.
It's a matter of the content. We going in one way and coming out more broken than we were when we came in. Because a lot of
Yeah.
those spaces are meant to commiserate, just misery loving company.
Company. Uh-huh.
No real change.
Yeah.
There's no real push and
Mm.
there's no real healing that takes place. So to hear a man put this together to talk about divorce, I think is so important and so key. And that's why I'm so glad. One of the reasons I'm glad you're here to kick this off. And before I get to my next question, I just want to greet some more people in the chat because I have to
Mm.
pause again because my mother is in the house and I'm sorry, but
Uh,
I'm saying everything shuts down.
hey, hey,
Thank you.
ma.
And
Yeah.
get excited. That becomes the little
Hey,
girl when he comes out. Hi,
uh, hey,
that is
mama.
fabulous. You got another son, Mama. You got another son. She picking him up everywhere. She will take you.
uh,
She will do it. And also in the building is Mr. Brown. Welcome in, Roderick. Good to see
uh,
you. Thank you for coming in and for supporting. Appreciate you so much. And it's good that the men are in the building on tonight. Don't worry, y'all. We're going to get the squad up soon. But I wanted to give Melvin time to talk about the book and share a little bit. So, my next question to you, Mel, is do you think there's a difference in, do you think divorce hits men differently than it does women?
yeah. It um yes, it does. It hits different, but I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna go out and let me say that it depends. It depends on the situation, and I'm speaking for me because I don't
Mm-hmm.
speak for other people. Because I'm not in their shoes and they're not mine. Um, I growing up in a Christian home, my mother was apostolic, Pentecostal. They believe in divorce. You know how that go and different
Yep.
doctrines and stuff. Um, and that's how I grew up, strong belief. And I wanted that. Just that one wife, and that's it. I'm going on to the finish line. You feel me? Didn't know this was going to occur. You know, but you know, God is still God on the throne. My thing is right now with us men, we once again we're not taught. I talk about this all the time, and I teach this all the time to my young brothers and to some people that I come in encounter with. Men are not taught. We don't have in our culture many role models. We can go to count. I don't care. You can go to a 3-year council. If it's not, you can't make things fit if it's not going to fit. And every day is a new day. My thing is that men, when we be transparent and honest with ourselves and not to do it for clout or just because a body or because things change, bodies change, facial change, the gray
Right.
come in, the you ain't got the muscular muscles no more, this happened, that happened, so things
Right.
change. And men, we don't think about that at the first. We think about, oh yeah, she that thing, you see that, you
See
see
that,
what I got.
that right there?
And yeah, and so down the line of process things start happening, mountains and troubles and trials and tribulations do come. But I think some men, far as me, didn't know how to handle that even with the counseling,
Mm-hmm.
because the to me a therapist always need another therapist to talk to, and a therapist need another therapist to talk to.
You
So
talk
even
right.
even with the counseling I got, they didn't never tell me about the mountains that was going, the storm that was going to come and try to take my marriage overboard. And which it did. And I was fighting it and I was fighting it until I got to a place where now I said I wanted a divorce. I wasn't into it no more. The tongue is powerful. The Bible speaks about the tongue and the
Mhm.
mouth.
Come on.
And I was kept going to work saying, I want out. I was doing that for like a year or so. I went out. I can't stand this marriage. I can't stand her. I was saying all types of things until it manifested itself. Now, maybe if I would have correct my language,
Mm.
which we need to do, if I would
Mm-hmm.
have said, you know what, let me find some outlets to work this thing. Like I need to work it. I don't care what is going to the life or death. I'm gonna fight for this. But I wasn't speaking that, and the enemy heard all that, came right swooping in, and I just did things that I wanted to do on my own will, and forgot about the whole union of the marriage. And yeah, I paid the price for it. I sure did. paid the price. It was a hard price. Yeah, and I'm not gonna say I sat up many nights and cried because men, we don't cry like that. But eventually, 3 days in a row, it was hitting me, and I started crying. Like, what did I do? What God showed me? Where did it detour that? Where did I go wrong? And He showed me.
Gotcha.
He showed me, and I was like, wow. Now, once again, women ain't all. She had some.
Right. We got stuff.
Yeah, she had some things, but at the end of the day, I put more damage to it because I'm the head. I was the head,
Right.
and I was supposed to cover and protect, and always I was always providing and protect my family, and I did, and I just turned my back, and I thought about the kids later, which that shouldn't have been that because my girls is all my all in all. But yeah, I just did things wrong without no real guidance. I was speaking to folk, good people that have been married for 48 years, but I just was. It was just going out through the other ear. I was listening, but it wasn't listening. I was like, yeah, all right. You know what I mean? And now that I have became more knowledgeable about what happened, how I help other women and other brothers, especially men, to be transparent and be yourself and talk. Say what you're gonna say. Do not hold it in. Do not leave it. And you ain't got to yell or fight for no, you ain't got to do all that. Pick a nice spot and a nice safe place for each other to be like, this is I feel this way and I don't know what to do. So certain things like that.
Right. No, that's good. That's good. And ladies, lean in. You are hearing it here because these are the things that we need to hear.
Yeah.
Because most men don't talk about it. Most men don't share. But it's also the understanding that most men don't feel like you have a safe space to share, and where you'll be heard and not judged, and just allowed to be received for what you said. One thing I learned
Mm-hmm.
is I don't have to like what you said, but I have to respect it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
women, we stop picking apart what men are saying when they're saying that I feel this. And we have the habit of saying, oh no, that's not what you feel. You don't feel that. What you mean is, because we're trying to change your narrative to suit our needs. And we have to stop doing that, because then that's what causes y'all to shut down, causes men to shut down. And then that causes division in the marriages or in the relationships. So ladies, we have to, I hope you're leaning in and taking notes. Okay, because we're gonna bring some of the men up, and we're gonna bring the panel up in a minute. And I just want to let y'all know ahead of time, every single one of us that have been up here that are coming up tonight have been married and divorced. Some of us are remarried. So we've all walked this journey. And I wish you would have wrote this,
I wish I would have. I wish I would have wrote it, but I didn't know I was going to be down this road.
right,
I
nobody
yeah. You
nobody
see,
really is married to get divorced. It's
yeah,
not the goal. So
right. And you got to understand. Even my bishop, he reposted on Facebook. He said you got to understand him, and that's why we don't condone divorce or promote it. And you see how the D is little. It's not a capital. It's a small
right,
D. And at the end of the day, I don't. You know, it happens, and it's going to continue to happen as well. And once again, we have to understand. And it's okay if you about to walk down the aisle and something tells you, nope, don't do it right just now. Don't do it now, get out of there. Be like, okay, I'm gonna wait. Or no, this is not the you go with it. I'm telling because at the ending, we feel that we don't need to listen to our gut or our heart, and it's steering us right. And you be like, something is not right. What is going on? And all of a sudden, You get into the situation, you get into the wonderful marriage at the beginning, then all of
Mm,
a sudden you ran into the brick wall because at that first, that instinct, God, a little still small voice spoke to your ear and said, not now. Chill for a minute. You know, maybe she wasn't the one, maybe he ain't the one. You know, maybe I need to get some other thing, iron out some other things first before y'all get married. So when it comes ahead, the storm comes ahead, you already be protected and you know what I'm saying, and guarded and with the blood over you, all that stuff. But we don't listen, you know, yeah. You know our
no,
culture. We just because I'm happy and the people's already paid a plate and we paid the venue. Who cares? Well, so what? You know, nobody can. Half of them ain't bringing gifts anyway. They just come to be nosy. Come
come
on.
on, talk about it. Talk
Yeah,
about
you know what I'm saying. So when they coming, they come to talk about it. Oh, it was nice. Take pictures. All that good stuff. But at the end of the day, y'all two gotta live with each other. So my thing is, and this is what me and my ex had did at the beginning, and I think that part has stopped too, because it was a lot of men. We was best friends, like for real, best friends. And mind you, she didn't like dark skinned men. She liked brown skin, 6'4". That was all her guys that she dated. Two guys that she dated in the service. And I came along, met her on the boat ride, and I wanted to talk to her friend. I was like, yo, her friend, and she cut through. I was like, yo, I don't even know you. Yo, stop cutting throw. Stop playing with me, man. Word, I'm trying to holler at Shorty right here. You all in the mix. And your man is on the boat. I said, I know dark skin always been in, but you don't come on, chill out, you know.
come
And
represent for your team. Come
so
on with the brothers. There's nothing wrong with chocolate. Chocolate works.
listen, Snickers been out for years. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all stop playing the game. And y'all try to now everybody try to mix it with the Hershey vanilla and all. Come on. Stop that. I not know it gets to the light skin brothers, but stop that light skin stuff. Stop. We always been in the mix. But anyway, I want to cuss though. I want to call Snoopy. You know what I'm saying?
I'm at
So
you.
I'm like, yo, you don't. She didn't like dark skinned men, you know. And it wasn't a gift of gab. I just used to be me. I started running into her in basketball tournaments I used to play. I used to boxing tournaments. She used to come. We had the same crowd of friends, but she
Mhm.
was always in the background. And you know, and we did one of them New Edition skits. Anybody know New Edition? They old school like me. Is this the end? We started walking home together.
Huh?
You know what I'm saying? I put her in a cab. I'll take I'll take the train. You know, all that old school stuff. You know what I'm saying? And we start building from there. Mind you, I had other shorties on the side, but it was something about her integrity, her character, her anointing. She had a praying life that I will never ever take that from her. To I don't know how she is now because we don't talk, but the praying it got me. I was like, oh, she will hold me down for real,
Right.
for real. You know what I mean? She did during our. She helped pray. I was like, okay, I gotta get up for work. You got to. Can you pray over there? Like, but every time God told her what to do, she did. So I respect her to the Most High for that, and we just detoured. That's it, you know, and that's it. It was all good.
Listen, I get it because ironic. It is, and that's amazing, and it's good that you're sharing that because it gives people a chance to stop and assess their own situation. Because sometimes when we don't talk about these things, everybody thinks that whatever you're going through is so unique and it's just you and you're alone. And it's like, no, love. This is normal for people in this situation. We don't want to talk about it. We become ashamed. We don't want to share. Um, and we don't want to be real about the realness of what we're going through. So, you sharing that y'all were best friends and how that road, you would think that you started out, you fought for each other in the beginning. How did we go from being friends to frenemies, at the end, or just enemies, and it happens. No one plans for divorce, but divorce does happen.
Yes.
And what I love about this book is that you're talking about, and now what? Now that's it. Because remember, we've changed our lives from singlehood to now being in this family, to being married, to having a mate and a spouse. And that was an adjustment and a transition. And now you have set yourself in this space of life. And now that which you worked so hard for is now over. Now I gotta learn a new number. Like, what you mean? Like you said, now I'm coming home by myself. Well, what is that? You know, um, even something simple as grocery shopping. Sometimes it's the little things that we miss. But now what? And life will happen in a relationship. So, now
The
that's a good share. That's a good
yeah,
share.
the now what, and I'm still in the now what. I think we're gonna be in the now what for a minute until a
So we
situation happen, or we decide to get married. That one, I'm not doing 3 or 4 times. If this time, listen, if okay, both of us gonna pass away in this one because I'm not doing the 4 and 3. And I get it, people do it 2, 3 times. I don't think this is for me. I can't do that. This next one, maybe I'll go to the second round for this next marriage. Not a big one. I had a big one the first time and all that, and then conduct myself in order what not to bring in, what to leave out. The now what is now, what do I do? How do I express who I keep myself around, the people, because people too can drive you to divorce. It's a lot that can
that's
drive you to divorce. People talking till this day, the friends that was around us, they talk, oh, rubbing our backs, yeah, such and such, and talked us down. I found out after the marriage, they
hmm
talked us down. They talked about me like a dog. And so, and I was like, what? So my mindset, my flesh part was like, man, I'll go slap all of them right in their face. What? Because I remember when, yep, I
right,
know every personal thing about them. But see, I'm not that dude to go and well, I remember such and such, don't, and I really had to sit down and talk to my bishop. I was like, anger. And every time it comes up the conversation, because somebody got to be accountable to us. Nobody would say, while we was losing our minds and talk about divorce and all that, nobody called around and said, you know what? We all travel together. We real family. We have cookouts together. Let's call a family meeting to the big table. 8 of us, 9 of us, 10 of us sit at the big table because nobody getting a divorce. We ain't gonna stand for it because we accountable to we staying married. Y'all helped us, so y'all gonna stay married. However, we gonna work this, we gonna work this out. Now, if it's a different spot, if you're not in love with that person no more, and you just don't, and you don't want to force it, like this ain't it, I don't want this no more, then we could understand that. But if it's still you loving it, and it's just things that just occurred and things that piled up on it, there can be a way.
right,
Is nothing is impossible. But we don't have that type of people no more because everybody want to chit chat and yap lip box with their mouth instead of praying. Instead of, yo, I'm gonna call you. No, we all gonna go out and we gonna sit down and talk. He gonna say what he gonna say. Men first. Then you gonna say what you gonna say. Now let's get the puzzle. How we gonna resolve all of this together? Because we in this together, but nobody
right.
does that no more. So, and I had a couple of my homegirls that's in the book. Some are still married. They don't want a divorce, but it's pushing in. So they wrote their testimonials. And it's awesome. So I just did my part of the healing part, just stay in God's face, stay on the knees. Listen, don't move until He tell you something. Don't
Yeah,
make no steps until He tell you something. And that's how to be. And I don't care how long it takes because he know what He's doing. Don't let it. And then if He gives you signs, because He won't only speak to you, but He'll give you signs. And if it's a repeated sign that He's giving you around you somewhere, not just if the husband or the wife is doing something outrageous, but different signs, what to do, go by them signs. Because He's not going to steer you wrong. You just got to be attentive and look and just keep your ear gates open. You know what I mean? So the now what is the process of, recreating yourself, reinventing yourself. I always use that. Reinventing. I used to use that when we lived together. Reinvent yourself. I used to tell her, reinvent yourself, do something new. You need money? Here, go. Just be happy. Do you. And the
you,
more I was pushing her, it seemed like she was drifting away, but she had other stuff going on. And,
mhm,
I identify with that and I understand that. But me, as a man, whoever be in my court or be courting me with me to marry, I like, listen, what you need, go do you. Be happy. Go with your girlfriends out, because I'm not that type of dude. I'm not jealous. I want dudes to say, yo, she fine as day and all that, because they know I got something good. You feel me?
right,
I don't want
right.
nobody to be like, and then look the other way. That's not cool. So, something's wrong. If they got, did I pick the wrong one? Like,
You want to be proud about what you got. You want to wear it well. Ain't nobody mad at
yeah,
that. Because you,
yeah,
baby,
yeah,
I represent you when I'm out here in these streets, and
yeah,
that's what it should be. That's how.
yeah.
But you made a really good point about making sure that you have like-minded, supportive people around you who are going to speak you up and make sure that if you find yourself on the brink of divorce, that you don't give up till you have tried everything. Who are gonna talk to you and tell you, we listen. First time you get married, you've never been married before. You don't know what it's going to be like. No two marriages are alike, but we all go through problems. The way we process them are different. We all going to go through the same things. It's just the way we do it is differently. So you're right. And for those of us who are not married, if you have friends who are married and you've been married, whatever that dynamic is, talk to them as best you can. And figure out how you can stay together, because no one gets married to get divorced. None of us up here started out. I know I didn't, but like I said, but life happened. But I was off from the beginning, so I ain't even gonna lie. Let me welcome in Dr. Elaine is in the building. That's my Monday night Beyond the Mic partner. We podcast at 7 p.m.
What's up?
Monday nights, and she's in the house. And Anae, she is agreeing with what you said. She said, I love that. Stay in God's face. Whatever your moral compass is, y'all, whatever it is, ours is God. So that's whose face we gonna be in. Whatever yours is, that's what you be in. And you stay there. So listen, y'all, again, welcome in. It's Thursday night with me, your girl, Lady Dawn B, here on the Bravo Sheila Network. We are talking with my friend, Melvin Phillips. He is the author of What I'm Divorced Now What. I keep getting my camera wrong, but that's all right. And now what? Because we all been down this road before, and I'm going to bring the panel up and get them into this conversation as we touch on some pieces of this book. Now, y'all, please hit the like, subscribe, and share button. It is free 99. Just hit that thumbs up. It is important to us. And we appreciate you because we have hit our 1K.1 subscribers. So we want to keep it pushing and getting this good information out there. You can purchase this book, and they put it in the chat, and I recommend that you do. Please do. You see, I got mine. And if I got to, get it for my team, I'm going to do that. But it can be found right here. She got the information up. You can also go to bookpatch.com and order it there. Go get it, because we're going to bring him back and see if maybe he can pick some of the ladies from this book so we can talk about. These are the things we need to talk about. We need to hear.
That's a fact. Yeah, I could run. We road dogs. We could all, you know what I'm saying? We a posse. We do all this together. You know what I'm saying?
For 10. We got room for 10. You ain't said nothing but a word. Say less.
Yeah. I could bring them, see their schedule, and I could bring probably 3 or 2, you know what I mean? To say their piece, and they would love to. For real talk, they would love to, because we on this earth, and I tell everybody to be a blessing to one another. None of this material stuff, this money, these cars, these homes, all this stuff, it's fine and dandy, whatever works for you. But this stuff ain't coming with us. What's coming with us is what we put inside other people, and the peace of God, and make sure they have God so they can see God. You see what I'm saying? So, of course we have our mistakes. We are human, we are flesh and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's more about God and God's face, staying attentive to his ears, stuff like that. And he knows that. You heard? So yeah. We outside. We doing it. Yeah.
We all need to learn this journey of now what, because the divorce sometimes is the easy part. It's the now what. We got to readjust. And I call it developing a new normal. After we developed a new normal, now I got to learn another normal. So before we go further, I want to bring up our Thursday night squad, our team, so that they can engage with you, because we all been there. And, I'm going to let you in on a little something in a second. But first, I want to bring up my big bro, Mr. Rockology. He is in the building. What's popping, big brother? You on mute, sir.
What's up, baby? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
All right. What's up, Melvin?
What's up, big fella? You all right?
Yes, sir. I'm just enjoying the conversation.
No doubt, man.
I commend you, man, for looking at your own faults, man. A lot of people don't do that.
Yeah,
A
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
people they just it's quick no her him. But to sit down and look at your own faults, that's a great sign of maturity.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it, brother.
That's what I'm talking about. Men loving on the men, appreciating
Yeah.
the men, bigging up the men. Something
Mhm.
happens when men speak, y'all. Something happens. Next, I want to bring up my girl. Y'all know she's no stranger here. She's a part of the ladies' room. This is my sis from another mister, but from the heavenly mister. This is my girl, lady. The coach Theo is in the building. Come on up, sis. How you doing, beautiful?
Good evening, everyone. How's everybody? Hey,
What's up,
Rod.
Good,
sis?
good.
See
How you
everybody.
doing? You all right? Okay, you all right?
Yeah.
That's
Good.
good. That's good.
We gonna get some dialogue again. I know Theo's been writing some notes. I know she has.
I was really just like listening because he was dropping a lot of gems. So I appreciate the sharing and
Mm-hmm.
the being authentic about it.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you so much, man. Word.
we,
Yeah, man.
we
Hi,
gonna share.
Mama Rosa. Hi, Dr. Elaine.
They saying hello, hello. This is family in the building, y'all. And he's back again. And I have kind of forced him to be a part of the men's lounge because it's just what it is. So he ain't really have but he has a choice. I can't say he don't have a choice, but he does have a choice. But it's just the way we rock. So um, I want to bring up, and for those who don't know, and for those who do, and Mel, this is going to be, it's a good pointer. This is brother Eric, I call him Sir Eric Swinson. I call him Henry. He is just recently remarried to an amazing woman about 2 months ago, February, June, and it was beautiful. So again, we've all been divorced, and so we're all back here, and he is remarried now. And how do I know this so well? Because he and I were married initially. So
Okay. All right.
it goes to show you
We,
mature grown up things. This is
yeah,
my
yeah, yeah, yeah. This is grown. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is very
we
mature.
friends, we share a child, we were married and we've been there. We've walked that journey of divorce and was able to remain friends. It was one of the things that we committed ourselves to doing, that regardless we was going to be friends. Wasn't an easy journey, wasn't always sweet, but we walked it out and here we are. That's my dude and I love his wife and respect it, and that's my
That's a
girl. We go out
blessing.
and do things.
That's a
So
blessing.
up right now. Bro, Eric is in the building. What's popping, sir?
Good evening to all. How are y'all?
Are you so professional today?
Yeah. How you doing,
Yeah,
brother?
good evening
You
to
know,
all,
that's
man.
that's that's
Yeah,
Good
salute.
evening.
yeah, yeah. You
So
good? You good,
I'm
man?
good. I'm good. I'm blessed.
That's dope. That's dope. Nothing to be blessed about.
Yes,
Blessed. That's
sir.
it. That's it right there. Yeah.
So, y'all, let's talk about it because we got Melvin here. He is the author. He said, "I'm divorced now. What? What do y'all think about this title, this topic?" I want to ask this question. And I'm gonna start with Mel, and I want to go around the room. Um, and wonderful, and they has again noted where you can purchase the book. I'm telling y'all, go get it. I'm trying to tell you, I was sitting here reading, thinking if I had this, life would have been a little different. I'd have made some
Mm.
choices. No disrespect, E. You know how we do.
None
You
taken.
know,
Uh-huh.
I'm about to have him and his wife on the show. We're going to talk about how to do blended families right, especially in the African American community, because we operate as one. We do family things. We go on trips. We do family stuff. We hang out for the holidays, and there's a way to do it. So it is a good example of how divorce is not the end. This is one of the things that Mel mentions throughout the book, how divorce doesn't have to be a bad thing. It doesn't have to be the end of it all, but it can be a new beginning. It can definitely set you off in a new beginning on the path that you should be on. So my question for everybody tonight, and I'm going to start with Mel, is does divorce mean failure? Does it equal failure?
Absolutely not. It doesn't mean failure. Divorce, and to be very profound with the divorce, some things you have to divorce yourself from, not just marriage either, from people, from negative energy, from vibe, some people talking too much, gossip, social media, the news, just too much. Sometimes you have to divorce yourself from certain things anyway, you know. Far as marriage wise, like I spoke before, it happens. And sometimes, and I meant to say this in a circle, the key is that pride. A lot of people's gonna die with a lot of pride. That pride is a killer. And when you don't break yourself down or listen, once again, listen to the voice of the Lord and listen to some people that surround you that's speaking life and honesty to you, it's gonna kill. I know some people right now that have pride. Oh, I ain't gonna never. And I'm saying, yo, bro, it's gonna kill you. It's gonna take you apart. And they're not listening. And I'm like, God, I said what I said. You told me what to say to my man. I said it. It's up to you now to work that hand. Because I planted the seed. That was just what I did. And that pride is a killer because I had it. I had a lot of pride. A lot.
Right.
I was like, what? Man, get out of here. I'm just terrible with it. And God broke me down. Boop, 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 like a Tyson hit. And I was like, oh my God, I'm sorry. I just did it. You know what I'm saying? Now I want to be sorry. Now I want to do. But yeah. I don't think I don't think it's the last though. It's an eye opener. That's my answer. A big eye opener.
So listen, y'all, divorce is not a failure. It does not equal failure. Mel said it is an eye opener. Dr. Elaine says, I applaud you both. I am not that grown yet. So me and E, listen, sis, it didn't come overnight. Did it, Eric? Was it overnight?
It sure did not come overnight.
Right. It came through some long nights, but it did not come overnight. So, but it's possible. We're living proof that it's possible. So, big bro, come on, give me your thoughts. Give us your thoughts on, does divorce mean failure? Does it equal failure? Is that what it means?
Well, it depends. You got fail and you got failure. So as far as the relationship, in my humble opinion, I find as far as the marriage is concerned, it failed. But that doesn't make me a failure, right? Because a failure is like a way of life, is a thoughts, a belief system. You know, just because you lost the game, don't make you a loser. You just
Mhm.
lost. You know,
Gotcha.
so so the relationship failed for whatever reasons. Um, I know me myself personally. Uh, if I could go back, I would change a mountain of things. And changing and making changes does not always mean, it doesn't always equate to right and wrong either. It just sometimes I'm 22. I'm doing with a 22-year-old. Of course, if I'm 42, I can do it better because I'm 42, right? So it don't make it wrong. It just makes, I would have done things better. I would have handled them better. My understanding would have been better, and and the things I've done. But but to say a failure, nah, I'm not a, like I tell people, like, you lost. I don't lose. I learn. I don't. I mean, that's just my mentality. Well, it wasn't a loss. That was a learning experience. We won't
Right.
be here again. We won't do this again. This won't be repeated. Because I've learned from this.
Right.
And as far as being friends, no, I'm good. I'm good. If we could be friends while we were together, we can't. Why? I mean, you want to be friends? Why we couldn't? I'm not understanding. I don't have no understanding of that. Now, with that said, I don't knock anything anybody does,
Mm-hmm.
because different strokes for different folks, right? It don't make the way I think wrong. It don't make the way Eric think is wrong. We're two different people, and we just have two different thoughts, and we respect each thought,
Right.
because there's some legitimate reasons behind every thought, right?
Right.
It just comes with understanding, and it comes with respecting. That's all it does, So, but that's my take. The relationship failed, but I'm not a failure though. I
Mhm.
didn't lose. I learned.
All right, I love it. I love it. You didn't lose, you learned. That's resonating with somebody on
And
today.
then when so because me and my wife separated for a little over a year back in 2016, and I went back home to New York. You know what I mean? So I went back home. So and I was talking to this old cat, and we was talking, and we was at the bus stop. He said, "So what brings you back?" So I get to telling him, and he was like, "What happened?" And this guy told me, in all of my 70 something years of living, this was back in 2016. In all my 76 years of living, I've never heard a person talk about a split and not once bring up the other person's name. All you talked about was you. Because even though things happened and things went their way, and when you look, you still could have done things better. You could have
Hmm.
handled them better. You know, you didn't have to. If I didn't go off here, and if I didn't say this over here, man, that probably would have gave that probably the split probably never took place. So you have to be honest with yourself. And you have to work on yourself. When we got back together, I made one promise to myself and I made one promise to God. And I said, this time around, I'm not going to be overly concerned what she do, what she don't do. I'm going to take care of me. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. I'm going to concentrate on me. And going on, since we've been back since 2018, we
Hmm.
ain't had one argument yet.
That's good.
Because I worry about me. I don't go, why you do this and why you doing that?
Right, right.
And then you have to understand also, when you grow and mature, things look different anyway.
That's right.
When I matured and came back, I realized a lot of things I was complaining about, they weren't even her issues. They were my issues.
Well, like you said, you
They
did.
were my issues.
You said
I didn't like
you
what this was done to this. But what we do is we try to make it the other person's issue
That's
when
right.
it's the
right.
issue belongs to the person.
Like you said, you didn't lose, you learned. And that's a good thing. So we should all be taking these relationships that we are having, whether they are successful to our end, or if wherever they've met their expiration point, taking them as lessons, and for us to learn and do better and be better, whether it's in the choices that we make up front or how we handle it once we get into it. So before we get to E, I want to say welcome in. Look who's in the building. Is
Von Eric.
Hi, Eric.
Boom Man is in the building. He says blessings all. Y'all know he gives 45,000 L's so that everybody feels welcome. Okay, there's an L in there with your name on it. Welcome in, Vaughn. You know where you need to be. You know where you need to be. And the Edwin, welcome in, Edwin. Thank you for joining on tonight. Good to see you in the building. Your buddy is back, Theo.
I can't, not tonight.
He said, I'm going via divorce. He ain't even married. How you gonna divorce before you get married? That didn't make no sense. We ain't fooling with Edwin tonight. So come on, E. Come
Six
on
said
and
not tonight. I can't do it tonight. She ain't got the energy tonight.
he said, "Hey all, oh, hey all. Listen, we keep it real here. Y'all know. If Theo said last week it is 2 weeks and she felt like she known it for a lifetime. So come on, Eric, tell us and share. The divorce, does it equal failure? Does that equal failure for you, Eric?
No, it didn't.
Come on and
Okay.
share.
It
Share.
it was it was a lesson learned.
That's it.
That's a loaded question, Eric. Be careful.
Listen, that's okay. That's all right.
I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
I can matrix anytime. But no, it does not equal failure. It's a learning lesson. For me,
Right.
it was a learning lesson because I know what me and Dawn was going through. It was hard, but we've always said from the beginning when we were dating, before we even thought we was thinking about marriage, that no matter what happens with our relationship, that we were always going to remain friends.
That's true.
And here we are, almost 30 years later, and we got divorced in 2010, and we still friends. We still remain friends, and we share a child together. And one of the reasons that we remain friends is because of my child, because he needed both his parents, and he didn't need both his parents yelling at him or having disagreements and all this other stuff. He needed his parents to come together and work as a team to make sure that he grows up to be the man that he is today. And that's a problem we have when a lot of people get divorced. They don't want to be on the same page, but try to be on the same page with their ex. And my son needs something. She called me and say, "Well, hey, can you get this for him?" And so before he's having this at the school, I always made sure I wanted to do something with my kids that my father didn't do with me, and that was to remain in their life. I didn't have my father growing up. I had my mother, my grandmother, my aunts, my uncles, grandfather. So graduations of proms I was at, graduations I was at, making sure my daughter is 28, so now she has a son. So I'm making sure that my grandson is good, and also me, Dawn, my wife, work together as a cohesive unit. So when my son was having issues in school, it wasn't just me and Dawn going. My wife was going too. She was my girlfriend at the time, but she still had a vested interest and so forth. So we're at a stage where she's always said, "Wherever you go, I'm gonna go." I said, "You sure about that?" She said, "Yeah." So now she joined my church. I was like, "You want to go to church? I mean, you want to go where I go. So I'm going to service. So you're coming to service with me because we're not gonna have a relationship where I'm going to church and you sitting home, or I'm going to one church and you going to another church. You can't get two separate words and think you're going to be on the same page
Right.
because the preacher to the left is not preaching the same as the preacher on the right. And also, so you want your relationship to be equally yoked. You want to get your Bible from the same person. Dawn goes to a totally separate church. I know her pastor and so forth. So I know the word that she's getting is on the same lines of the word that my pastor preaches. And or so we're not gonna have a difference of opinions and everything. So can the divorce can work as long as you both have an open mind after you settle your differences that okay, all of that mess is out of the way. Let's work on moving forward. I have the relationship with Dawn that I have because we had a conversation. I don't have that. I don't have that relationship with my daughter's mother because a whole separate situation. When my daughter was younger, she wanted to. When my ex's mom passed, she wanted to take my daughter and move down to Virginia. So instead of me arguing with her, I said, "Okay, fine. That's what you want to do. Go ahead, no problem." Because I already knew that you taking my child out of state was going to create a problem between you and her. She didn't want to go. She didn't like it down there. But now she's made her life down there. And all, but I told my daughter I had to let you go because it was best for you. You needed to go out of New York City to grow. And now you're a 911 operator. So, it's a better look for her. But me and my daughter have a great relationship. No matter what her mom would say about me, she's always made sure that she's daddy's girl. I'm going to go see my father. I'm going to call my father. I want my dad to come visit me. So I make it happen. So I do have the relationship that I have because of prayer, basically. That's the bottom line. And, or I had to pray through certain things that went on with me and Dawn and went on between my daughter and her mom.
But I can definitely say prayer has worked well for you, sir.
Thank you. And you know, mom has prayed for me too. You know,
Yes.
she's always prayed for me. She's a
Yeah.
praying mother.
Yeah, she is. And
Hi,
you know,
mom, love you.
she's a, so Eric, you touched on a good point that is also in the book that Melvin wrote, in the chapter that Melvin wrote. In the book on chapter 8. That's what I'm telling y'all. Y'all got to go get it, because I don't think that there is a area of the process of divorce that happens that is not somewhere in this book. And even if you're not married, get it, because it will help you before you even get into situations. It will help you to have some understanding of what can happen and what will happen in a marriage. One thing I like that Mel said, he didn't say it on here tonight, but when we talked, he said he's not trying to be the number one bestseller. He's trying to be the number one best helper. And that in and of itself, like, blessed my whole heart, because some people do things and share their experiences just for the buck. He's poured out his heart and put his truth into this book so that it can continue to grow and help other people, so that you don't have to. He's investing in other people by sharing from the male perspective. So again, I commend you. And one of the chapters that he wrote in in the book, he touches on co-parenting and family dynamics post-divorce, what that looks like. So these are things that you need to keep in mind and consider even before you get into a relationship, before you get into the marriage. Consider, it doesn't mean that you have to. You don't go in with an escape plan.
Right.
It's nice to know where the fire extinguisher and the life jacket is should you need it.
Yes.
It's good to know the things that you can look out for, to know that these are normal things that happen in relationships, and that everything doesn't equal divorce. I had a mindset that I was like, she's a runner, she's a track star, and I used to have a mindset in relationships like the first argument we have, I'm out. I was like, I ain't doing it. I'm not arguing with you. I ain't talking about it. That was one of the things, and I admit this, and I have admitted it to Eric as well. I didn't communicate in our marriage. I shut down. It was like, I'm not talking anything, but I did not have parents that communicated. No disrespect, Mom, you know how it is. Who resolved issue, who you saw resolving. So it's hard to repeat something that you have never seen. I saw my parents like separate, and go in different directions and go different ways. And so for me, an argument was like, this is over, like, we don't get along, like, I'm hearing you hate me. That's not at all what anybody was saying. But it speaks to how we can self-sabotage our relationships. And like, I love you, but I don't know how to work through it. And that was one of the things for me, when it came down to, in being transparent, our marriage and our divorce. And I even admitted, I was like, it's not that I don't care, but I don't know how to work through this. Like, I don't know how to get past this. I don't know how to, and I can't. One thing he said to me was like, you can't keep punishing me for the same thing, over and over again. So like Mel said earlier, if you find that you just cannot, or if you're just not in love anymore, then yeah, you have to be mature enough to make that decision that you have to dissolve the relationship. But I've learned, since then, I'm reformed. We know that's my word. I'm reformed, y'all. I know how to express myself now. I surely will tell you, yes is yes, no is no. I don't like this. When I hear what you're saying, I'm not afraid to sit and listen to the hard things anymore. And that takes time, and that takes maturity, and it takes development, but you have to be willing to do it. So divorce, as we are finding from everyone thus far, is saying that it is not failure. It speaks to experience. Come on, Theo, share your take on is divorce. Does divorce equal failure? And again, all of us on this panel tonight, we've all been married and divorced.
I'm just gonna keep it real. I definitely, of course, matured into the state where, yeah, I realized it was not failure, but I think at the time that it happened, and probably at the age that I was, right, it was somewhat of a failure, right? Not to say that I was a failure, but it was a failure. It was a relationship that did not work. Um, like you said, no one goes into it thinking that it's not going to work. And so just to keep it real, for a while, yeah, it was, you feel like, oh my God, I can't believe I couldn't make it work. Right. And for me, I'm the one that made the decision that I was tired. I could no longer, I was tired of it. I was tired of the same disagreements. Right. I think we were growing apart. Right. And and so that's another thing, right? Because I was the one that decided I can't do this anymore. Because I would tell anybody, and I just told my ex-husband, because for a while, like, we weren't friends right away. Like, for a while, I was like, you don't even need to know where I'm living, right? I'm just out. I'm down the street, but you don't need to.
Right.
But and he wasn't a bad guy, and I just told him, I was like, out of every dude any guy I ever was with, he was a great guy, still is a great guy. There was no doubt that he loved me. There was no doubt he respected me. Like, I was spoiled. I will honestly tell you, right? But we just grew apart, right? And I just got tired of having the same disagreement. But for me, I wouldn't say we remained friends, but we remained in each other's circle because he was best friends with my cousin's husband, and he was friends with my cousins. So I would show up at an event and he's there. Because, my family, as far as I was concerned, you divorced and we didn't. Right. And so, he probably attended more family events than I did. Right. But I could show up to an event. He was there. We had a goddaughter. Right. So we didn't have children, but we shared a goddaughter that was like our child. So, but I would say it took a while and I'm going to say, honestly, just owning it was me. Because I would tell you, the younger Theodora was a little more selfish.
Girl.
More self-absorbed. When I was done, I was done. Right. And so, it took some growth, some maturity. Right. And now, we're not friends. We don't talk all the time, but we can get on the phone and have a conversation and catch up and talk to one another, which is cool. But I would say, honestly, I don't believe it's a failure, but I would say at the time, I felt like I failed.
Gotcha. And I think that, and I appreciate the 5 different perspectives that are up here, because everybody's voice is going to resonate with someone. But I think the main thing is that for those who may be going through this or contemplating it, because I know that there's a level of guilt that goes along with it. There's a level of an extreme level of disappointment, that goes along with it. But we have to really keep it real. And I think it's important that people understand that it's okay, because some people will hang in a bad situation just because you don't want to look bad.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to be miserably married, and nobody wants that. Like, my soul can't take that, And if you really love the person, then sometimes the resolve is letting them go.
Let it go. Let it go. Let it go.
If I can't make you happy, then what's the point? I want to read some comments before I hop back over to Mel. Welcome, guys. It is Thursday night. As you know, I'm your girl, Lady Dawn B. We are here talking with author Melvin Phillips, my friend. His new book, Divorced. Now what? Go get it, and go get it. Buy one for your entire family. Married, divorced, the 12-year-old. Get them early.
Yeah, get them early. Yeah.
Teach them early. What, ladies?
Plant that seed. Yeah.
Right. Teach them, stay married.
That's right.
Yes, Edwin. This is me reformed. This is the reform version. So anyone who knows me knows I have come a long way, right, Eric?
Long,
But
long, long, long. Can't even see
Long
how wide
or
my arms are
long?
going right now.
This long, or that long?
No, more than a foot long.
Oh,
it's
okay, this long. Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
it's really, bro, really big, bro. That's what we're doing.
No, I was trying to get understanding. You know, I gotta get understanding, sis.
It's
Understand.
real long. It's real long. I'll admit it.
Hey,
Okay.
I met the sweet, kind, reform. No,
See what I'm saying? It's listen, I am well diversified, people, okay, but I'm really real about it. Just which side of me now, the other side, she's not completely dead. She's just kind of resting a little bit. It's just a matter of, what you do depends on what you get. That's all I'm saying. But I'm reformed now, so I operate better. Self-aware. I'm doing all right. So yes, Edwin, this is me reformed. Thank the good Lord. Zen just says it takes being honest with yourself about your shortcomings and being willing to work on them for sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the thing. I find that when it comes to relationships and the divorce, and I think we'll probably all agree on this, we are always talking about what the other person did.
mm-hmm.
Instead of looking at what did I contribute to it. You could be right and still be wrong. Your right becomes wrong when you start arguing and debating. When you sometimes you got to be not necessarily the bigger person, but you got to be the stable person in a situation. And it's not all the other person. I'm very big on introspection. At this point in life, it's like, listen, these mid-50s is not, it's a whole different ball game. And I'm like, okay, let me check me about me. Let me see what I'm bringing to the table. No, it's not all you. And like Melvin mentioned earlier, that pride will block you, and it will kill relationships before they even have a chance to start. Evelyn says it's hard to trust on the real. It is. It is. But you get there. Trust takes time. It's one step at a time. It requires patience.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's what we're doing, Edwin? Really?
Big, but sis.
I'm gonna let you have it. I'm gonna let you have it. Go ahead, big bro.
Trust, yes, trust can be hard, but trust doesn't have to be hard. Trust is hard because many times we give it away and it's not earned.
Mm.
We give, and then when we give it, we give it in volumes. We'll meet somebody, we'll tell them our whole life, our parents, our siblings, we telling them everything, and you gave this person all this intel that mature wise they wasn't ready for,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
because information is given according to maturity, because you can
Mm-hmm.
say something to people to jack them up a little bit. It doesn't matter how long you've been friends. It don't matter how long, whatever. It don't even matter how long you've been married. Sometimes you got to spoon feed, because you can jack a person up if you give them too much at one time.
Mm-hmm.
So it is hard, but it don't have to be hard. And we can't allow people to force us to trust them. Oh, you should better talk to me about anything. And no. You have to use wisdom and discernment in some things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 That's true. It's true. Trust does need to be earned, but you also have to have, I think in every relationship, in friendships, whatever it is, there's an automatic um built-in blind trust that happens.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause that's the only way you're going to get to know someone.
Yep.
Whether it's just like I'm trusting that I'm sitting down at this table talking to you, whether we share a drink or coffee, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm trusting myself, even in starting to share with you the bits about me. And that's where it starts. Like, but when it comes to male female relationships, like, can you hold my secrets and make sure that they're no longer a secret? Because once I tell it to you, it's actually no longer a secret.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes common knowledge. But are you going to use that? And especially in marriages, we use those things and weaponize. Women, I hate to say it, but we are infamous for
Yes.
weaponizing things that our men share with us in spaces of trust And that is so destructive. That is like the root of betrayal. Betrayal is an inside job. And ladies, when that man is sharing with you whatever it is that he's sharing with you, like, sis, you the closest thing to him. You like his heart beating outside of his body. Like, we got to do better with protecting that, you know, because again, then he'll never trust you again. And then you wonder why your marriage, why your man, your husband is distant, because he can't trust you with nothing. If I can't trust you with how I feel, how am I supposed to trust you with me? You know, so we got to get it. We got to get it. Edwin said, Eric said foot long. Edwin, you know what? He didn't say Subway though. He didn't say that.
And you're welcome.
That's what we do. It's okay. I can take it now. I can take it now because I'm reformed and I am mature. I'm of a different being now. Okay. I don't mind. Rod says wisdom is key, and that's true. We have to operate with wisdom, and make sure that we are sharing. Like you said, big bro, you cannot give everything at one time. Everybody doesn't have the capacity to manage all of your truth at the same time. And I think in marriage, we have to understand that even in that space, it takes time. You know, it takes time. Zen just says, depends on the information you are choosing to withhold. Is it needed to know that would change the person's decision on the relationship?
Yeah.
That's a good question. That's anybody will share on that? Anybody will share on that?
Certain information you just can't give out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
If I killed somebody,
Lord Jesus,
that's my secret.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna share that with you, not knowing if you're gonna be the one that's gonna turn me in 5 years down the road.
No, but you know what?
And we always say need to know, but we all have something that maybe somebody that their spouse need to know. So, and we'll say, "Oh no, I needed to know it," but what are you holding that I need to know?
Right.
It would have been nice if Eric had told me way back when we was dating that he threw a chair at his teacher. You know what I'm saying? I might have
threw a whole desk.
Relationship. You know what I'm saying?
I threw a whole desk.
I might have considered. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. My bad. He threw a whole. He ain't say nothing about that till after he was married. Like, bro, you got anger issues. Like, why you ain't say something before? Because I would have had to.
I'm gonna give you an example.
I was
of something.
16. I'm grown now.
It don't matter.
So this is wait. This is a true story. So my cousin's father passed away probably about 8 to 10 years ago. He didn't know that the father had a life insurance policy out on him and his kids, as well as his sister and her daughter, until the day of the funeral. Now, my cousin, his parents were technically divorced, but she kept the last name. So that allowed her to go and take control of the policies and would not give my cousin his life insurance policy that he was entitled to.
Wow.
But she said, "Oh no, you're not going to be responsible enough. You're going to spend this money." So certain things he kept from the wife because it wasn't her need to know, because those policies had nothing to do with her. It had to do with the kids and the grandkids. So certain things you do have to keep from your spouse at certain times, because they got divorced. So she kept the last name. She was still able to go into the bank account, and take all the money out and all this other stuff. So she thought she had carte blanche to do all of this stuff.
You would think that could be contested, though.
Well, that's a whole that's a whole other show.
Right. But I'm just saying,
whole other show loaded, y'all. It's a whole other
It's certain things that people hold inside of them because they don't trust that spouse at the time.
But then you have to be very mindful. This goes back to kind of knowing who you marry, making that choice up front. And I know that we learn each other each day in different, as long, but you definitely have to see someone in all four seasons, I believe,
Yeah.
before you make that decision. I need to know what your temperament is like. Paris, listen here. Yes, that's a whole nother show. We're gonna
Yeah.
have to have a midnight show for that. Okay. you know, there are certain things for me. I don't want to, if I have to be with you and I can't share everything with you, then for me, that's kind of a problem. That's just me personally. I want to be able to share everything with you. And I know that realistically, that may not happen,
Yeah.
but I have to at least want to, you know. Let me read this other comment and then I want to ask Melvin a question because this is a good book. Y'all go get this right now. Well, not right now. Wait till the show is over, but go get it. I'm divorced. Now what? You can find it on Barnes and Noble's, and they put it in the chat. You can find it at bookpatch.com. But go get it because we're going to have him and the crew, the ladies who have joined him, coming back to talk about it so that y'all could be up to speed with us. Paris says, I'm coming in late. It's okay, sis. It's good to see you. Welcome in. But have we addressed what God feels about divorce and how a Christian handles divorce? Is it different? We didn't necessarily discuss that because as we know, and we share that this is not a Christian network. We open up to everybody, anybody, whatever your moral compass and your beliefs are. There are people of different beliefs and different standards, whatever their moral compass is. But we who are believers, we know that, we can have that conversation on the Christian channel. We could definitely come back and do so that we can. And we have a whole Christian channel over there. So, across the street, St. Sheila Ingram Ministries. And we go over there and get down and go in, but Mel, who is the author of this amazing book, did definitely mention the importance of God in your marriage, in your relationship, and even in this process of divorce, about praying about it before it happened. Don't move till you hear God. That's what he said. If I heard you right? So he said, don't move.
Don't move until you hear from him.
That's
Until
what.
you have to have your ear gates open, and it's not just your ears, it's your heart. You have to have that heart open so he can minister to you to tell you what to do in this process of what we do, and we can be a witness to that. We run ahead of God on certain things, and we do what we want to do when we want to do it, without him answering it. You feel me? And so most of the mistakes, most of the things that we have made is because we ran ahead of him and he didn't tell us to go that route. You feel me? And it's always seek ye first the kingdom of God and add all his righteousness to you. Before you get up in the morning, before you touch the phone, you get in there, brush your teeth, do what you need to do, and wash up and all that. God, what you need me to do today? Direct my path. What? Talk to me. What's ahead? Cover my family and everything. Of course, you pray for the whole clan and everybody, but what you need me to do? Who you need me to talk to today? Or you just want me to chill out and just listen to you, what you have for me that I brought before you in prayer? Different things like that. I'm old school. My grandmother and all that. I'm old school. So, certain things I grew up on. And I think I was talking about the trust. With that, I think even with, because I'm bad with that, not trust, but I was bad for not going when I went out on dates and everything else. And I learned from my bishop, my uncle, that when you go out on a date, your job is to collect data. They
Right.
ain't your girlfriend or your boyfriend.
That's right.
Your job is to collect data from each person, because you could date how many people you want. One could go for ice cream, one could go for pizza. All that. You have
Like,
to collect
yes.
information. Check what was their mother a stripper? Was their father a pimp? You got to check all that information to see where you gonna end up in, or do you want this? Because we don't do
Mhm.
that. Because we just say, oh, Dawn is this, so yeah, God said it, and I believe it, and that settles it. No, you check her back. What was her mama like? Did her mama was dealing dope on a porch? What? Like, you gotta find these things out. You feel me? So I
The
think,
governor,
yeah,
the
I know
pastor.
I know your mom's was good. I'm just example. It's just examples. All I'm saying is that we run ahead of him in certain areas, and we say, quote unquote, oh no, God, I need you to direct my path. However you gonna direct it. If I don't even see it, just block it from me or guide me. Keep on guiding me straight. You know. and that's the prayer that we need to pray. But we get lost in the source with different things, you know. And everybody know the song, Velvet the Bow Can't Trust a Big Button to Smile. You know, that girl is poison. So some things, even men is poison. Men is poison too. So even some things is, you just gotta ask God to guide me, lead me and guide me along the way. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we at with it. Yeah.
Is your book on Amazon?
Yes, it's on Amazon.
Okay,
I gotta talk to my publisher. It's on Amazon. I think I sent doing the links of all of the,
Yeah, we could drop that.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, no problem, bro. Thank you.
It's also on bookpatch.com.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull the link back up. And just as a disclaimer, just as a side note, I just want to let y'all know that Velvet DeVoe with that song was incorrect. Okay, all of us big booty girls with a smile. Okay, we can be
incorrect. Definitely
Never
incorrect.
trust a big button and smile. That girl is.
No, let me tell you. But let me tell you. You know what? Actually, because I was in the entertainment business. Let me tell you, it was a real true story. Both of them in New Edition. I think it was Ronnie and Biv was messing with the same girl. It's a true story because my homegirl was in the video.
Sure was. That's right. Yep.
Yeah, and they was messing with the same girl, and they they feed it back, and they told the story that she because she was playing both of them, and she was I'm gonna get both of y'all. So she was poison.
Right.
We understood that.
And she had a big button and smile too.
She just well, okay. She didn't put the stuff out. But listen, y'all.
He made sure that he had a big button and smile too.
She had a big button and smile too.
We can go back to last week's show, Pretty for a Big
With
Girl.
a leather outfit on.
Don't do that.
Oh God.
you're not right for that.
Look at this. Wait a minute. Now y'all know, first of all, just it happens like clockwork. I don't care what we talking about. It is the turning the corner hour, y'all. This is what
y'all was going
to left. Right now, bro, don't talk about my leather.
It's crazy.
I did want to say something about. I did want to say something about the relationship with God, right, and trusting God's voice. Because the older Theodora definitely gets that, but at the age that I got divorced, I knew God. I grew up in the church, but my relationship with Him was different.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's definitely great. Advice for people that you do need to. I will say now, definitely, you need to listen. You need to hear His voice. You need to ask for guidance. But I think when you're younger and you have that, I knew God, but I didn't. My relationship with God back then compared to now was totally different. Right?
I think when we was younger, what happened was, in I don't never dagger the church. I don't, because the church never did nothing to us. It's the people in the church that did different things to the people in the church. Because the church, God don't do nothing to it. The church is the building. You don't, you the people that's in worshiping, you saying different things. You supposed to be, as a younger me, just like a younger you. Somebody's supposed to. If one wasn't accountable, it should have been several people that was accountable to me during my marriage. You feel me? As a young Mel, like, yo, Mel, okay, they spoke to you, you really didn't listen to, or somebody I could have been comfortable with to lay it out like, yo, I need help. And sometimes I really didn't never ask for help. Sometimes you can see it on my face because I wore it on my face like so pissed off and mad. And she did too as well because she wasn't a communicator. It was like she was on page 6, I was on page 26. So it was always like that. After 10 years of the marriage, it was cool. After that, it was just like all over the doggone place. And I'm like, she'll shut down, and then I'll shut down for 3 months. She'll shut down for 2 months. It just was a mess. And so my thing was, and one time we did come together, sat on the couch. I cried on her lap, and she was like, we just got to do better. But we just didn't have that outlet. it wasn't, I couldn't find nobody around. Like, who can I talk to? And then the people I did find around, they was long distance away. They wasn't in our vicinity. I was like, I'm not gonna keep on calling them and bothering them because they dealing with the people out in, West Oakland or whatever they at. I'll just deal it with here. And I just was like, this is it. This is it. And I kept talking it and I kept repeating it. Like, bump this. I don't care no more. And I'd start doing different things and just to make it more damaging, and had to explain to my kids what daddy did and explain to her. And of course she was hurt. I told her to her face and things like that. And it didn't feel good, until sometimes when I think about it, it still doesn't feel good because I could have did it a better way. If I would have listened to God, got on my knee, fell on my knees like I supposed to have, and listened to God to direct me what to do. But I was so prideful and didn't want to listen and be like, this is over already. Nobody is around. Nobody want to say nothing. Nobody want to talk. I'm done, and I went on my own instinct, which the marriage could have been saved if I would have went on my knees as a young male and be like, well, God, you got to do something, and I didn't, I just, did what I did. And it hurt. I hurt myself, but I hurt her more bad. And that was my worry for her. Cause she didn't believe in divorce either. She didn't believe in divorce. She didn't want it, but I was already in the attitude, I don't care how this goes. Let's just get it done. She got it. She tapped me on my shoulder. I want a divorce. I said, okay. And I went back to sleep. It was like, I don't care no more. And then after the fact, I felt it coming. And then I see my kids and I saw their faces. I got all girls. So I was like, Jesus, what did I do? And and I had to deal with that at the process, so, everything is cool now, but that's how it's going to be, just cool. Cause we don't talk, we don't conversate or nothing like that. And that's not on my part. It's on her part. She don't want to, I'm cool with it. I done been on move on with my life. I kicked the dust off of my feet. I told God, listen, I did what you say do. I apologize. I wanted to make amends. She said no. She has to deal with God on that level, on herself. I'm good. My heart is clean, pure. So whoever come in my life, I'm good. It won't be, oh, let's talk about your ex. No, let's talk about the future. Like, what's good? You know what I mean? So
Right.
yeah.
And that's
How
a
many
good.
girls you have?
I got 3 girls.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
got 5 girls?
You got 5.
Okay,
Yeah.
dude. Cool. Yeah,
And that's a
3
good
good.
thing. I think you made a great point of, at the end of it all, as long as you've done what you need to do to have peace about it, you're
Mm-hmm.
not have to carry the guilt of the situation, or you don't have to carry the other person's feelings or emotions at that point, because you've done your part. And you got to be willing to let that go, because we will guilt ourselves. We will carry guilt
Yes.
because the other person, they may never the way that you want them to respond or react. Divorce is the death of a thing that people don't consider. And in the book, another point, Mel talks about grief and the grief
Yeah.
process, and that it's okay to grieve,
Yeah.
because marriage is a life. It's a life that you're beginning, and anything that is born has the ability to die just the same. In your marriage, if you don't do the things that you need to do to keep it going,
Amen. That's
it's
right.
going to die. So it's not just about, I'm divorced now. What? How about it? Maybe you need to do a part 2. I'm married now. What?
Yeah.
Like, what
Right.
do we do?
That's right.
What happens? But that was so good. You have to do what brings you peace. When I knew that I could walk away from a situation with peace, then I was okay with it. I stopped allowing the thoughts to cycle in my head. And I know we've all been there, because we've all been through like, did I leave too soon? What could I have done better? Should I said this? Should I have done that? Maybe I spoke when I should have been quiet. Maybe I was quiet when I should have spoke. Maybe I should have cooked dinner more. Maybe I should have done this more. But it's too late at that point.
Yep.
You just have to do what brings you peace. And if sometimes going your separate ways is the resolve, so that everybody can be better. So that was good. And I just want to, side note, Big Brother Rock, because as Mel was talking about praying and waiting for an answer and direction, and you was bringing up leather, I want you to know I prayed about my outfit and the Lord told me that it was okay. Okay, so I got clearance from God. So I just want to go on record. I ain't going out like that. I ain't going out like that. Edwin says, of course, you got to keep things from your spouse, especially life insurance. Okay, that's I get you. I get you. Paris says yes, but why marry someone you don't trust? And that's true. But trust has to be built, and there has to be
Yeah.
we don't get married without trust. I have to trust you to some point,
Yeah.
you know, to agree. You know, even if I'm throwing caution to the wind and like, let's just go for it. It's still something that I'm trusting in you. Evan says again, she's trying to get my paper. Lord Jesus. Oh, yeah, I don't even. I can't. Paris says, okay, I feel that. That's why I'm still single. God first. Okay. You know, hey, do what you got to do. Well, I like that. Collect data. Yes. Dating is data. That is it. It is not a commitment. It is not like you have to. And I think that's a good point too, because we think that just because you're dating women, we do this so much. Help us, God.
Help us.
Listen, the first day you already on your way home, imagining what you're gonna name your kids, what color your picket fence is gonna be, how many people you're gonna invite to this wedding. Just 20 years ago, you didn't even know that he existed.
Right.
Like, how many quick? Like,
Dawn, remember when we first met, and we sat in front of my building for 6 hours in the car talking.
That is true. We did.
And then I told you to go home and get some sleep. I'll call you later on. And I called you later on. And then we went out and grabbed something to eat and talk some more.
Yep. We did. We did it just about every.
We wanted to get to know each other.
Yeah. And what it is, you have to realize too. Remember years ago, the commercial used to come on, or the mother or the father would buy. You always see the Ken doll, the Barbie doll, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
You would see Ken as a working man with the suit on. You'll see Barbie with the kids in the house. So when women, they mindset is already thinking, listen, I can nurture a family, I can build a family. We're men, we're not thinking that far ahead. I'm just trying to get to know you. You already on the other side of the bridge. Like, yo, chill, just give me a minute.
I'm trying to figure out how much this ticket gonna cost.
Yeah, right.
And you all the way up in there. You know what I mean?
And I'm
saying, I got
saying,
enough money in my pocket. Wait a minute.
And you text, and you know, I got it. I was at dates, and they was texting their girlfriend, "Girl, this is the one. He smelling good. He got the fine things on. His swag is crazy." And I'm like, "Yo, we just eating a pizza. What are you doing?" I ain't say I want you like just press the brakes, but I get it too, because you know I get it, but I don't get it because it should be taught. And some of us, and I could go days for this. What has happened from our generation and our culture, we wasn't correctly taught. We seen and we looked and we saw our ancestors, our fathers. We see old pictures of slavery that the mother and they stuck in, the picking cotton, the children and everything. We've been through a lot and we seen it. And then, but nobody never said, Daddy never said nothing, but he brought home the bread. He kissed on us, he prayed with us, and he went back out to work the 2 jobs. And that was the ritual, but he never conversate with us. Because they didn't know how to. So we come all the way down to this generation right now, where now I tell everybody, you know who most of the role models people was looking at? Was the Cosby Show, Good Times, the Jeffersons, some of that, because they were seeing, you know, from the hood, from to the east side, George and them, and then you see the Cosbys. Like, oh, now you looking at the Cosbys, like, we can really live like that. We can really be a middle class rich. A mom can be a lawyer, daddy could be a doctor, and we can still not throw pots and pans and get the switch and a stick and what. But we can conversate to our kids. We can conversate to our spouse. That's what everybody was riding off. Like, yo, this is dope. I love Clay Huxtable till this day. And I'm like, My wife would have been like that. Listen, I would have been still married. You're like, come on. Like, but it was just teaching, you feel me? It was just teaching us like the role models and like, wow, I wish I would have got this earlier. Or I wish I would have seen this earlier, but we wasn't taught. My father never spoke. All I found out was he was at clubs with girl. He was one of a player. He was a maintenance man in a hospital and stuff like. But I knew he loved me and my brothers. But yet, and still, he was out in the streets until my mother bopped him side of the head with a bat, and then she told him get out the house, and that was it. You see what I'm saying? But she never divorced him. That was back then. She never divorced him. She just separated from him. But he got him a little girlfriend and all that. Then he found out this ain't that. I want to come back home. She said, nope. You done did what you did. Nope. I'm gonna take care of these boys. You send what you need to send, and that's it. And so I saw stuff like that, and I'm like, I don't want that to be my marriage. And you know, but now it had hit the road, and I said to myself, I said, wow, this is crazy. I said, if I could turn the time back, I would do some things different. But I know I can't turn the time back. It doesn't happen. So God now build me in a greater way that I know that I can be an example for other people. And even if we come cross paths each other, my ex-wife, that I'm gonna tell her once again, and I said it 100 times already, but this is gonna be 101 in the last, that I'm sorry that I brought you to this part, and that, you know, just forgive me, and you know, we can move on from there. And that's that, you know.
That's good. You dropped so many good points right there about, you know,
yes, he did.
what we've seen, how we try to emulate. Like, you didn't know that this was even possible, you know. And it's sad that we have to see it on TV, but can't live it out in our home, because the truth is, after that 30 minutes, which is really 20, the Cosby's goes off. Like, I still got to deal with my mom and dad back here yelling, you know. I still got to deal with my father leaving and just walking out, you know, or my mom. Sometimes, okay, I'm gonna say it like it is. My mom sometimes, you know, this uncle this one and uncle that one, you know, and it leads me to have this fantasy that I see, but I can never touch. My reality is really different. And that's why we be careful of what we represent. Like, we didn't have the tools to do those things, like you said, but it has to stop somewhere. Like, we got to learn to be the people that are better, you know, for our kids, generation, you know, for the next generation. So like Eric said, one thing we was like, when it came to our son, it was more important that he saw a healthy relationship between us than it was for us to be in the house miserably married.
Yes.
I think
that's right.
Form, and this is what it's supposed to look like, you know, and this is how it's just supposed to be, and that's not truth. You know, Jay, do what you need to do. That's our son, to maintain healthy, you know, have a healthy connection. If you and I work better as friends, then let's be friends. Because for me, I think it wasn't even the divorce that was the hardest in a sense. For me, it was because Eric and I became best friends. Like you said, we sat out, we talked, you know, for hours. And I mean, it wasn't just one day. It was like every day after that. If you saw Eric, you saw me. If you saw me, you saw Eric. We was hanging out, doing everything we could do. Spending time, you get to know someone. You know, I mean, times were different back then, but you know, you put that time in to get to know someone, which is important to do. Now, you know, because of that, you develop that friendship, that bond as friends. Because truth is, every day, I'm not going to be in love with you every day. Today, your key hits the door, I'm already irritated because you coming in here in my space. You know, today, when I get out the shower, you be like, I don't want to smell your soap because I hate that fragrance to begin with. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are real things that we don't talk about, that need to be talked about, and set a realistic point. So what we're emulating, it is sad that people have to learn it off of social media more so than in present time, you know, and those of us who are in actual spaces have to make sure that we are showing the realness, you know, the real life. It's not about the butterflies, and it's not about, like you said, y'all are having pizza. She texting her girlfriends already. Girl, put that phone down. Let me enjoy his company. I'll talk to you later. You know, and we create this. He's the one already off of 2 dates, bro. I've watched you eat one meal and have 2 sips of coffee. I don't know how you put your shoes on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how you carry on at the end of the day. There's just certain things that you got to give space and time for relationships to be built and have that trust. Otherwise, you're going to marry somebody you don't know and be surprised when the real them shows up. Well, not the real them, but when the other parts of them start showing, I didn't know he was like that. I didn't know she was like that.
I mean, yeah. I mean, at first you meet people's representatives, right? So you have to, like you said earlier, you have to see people in their different seasons, right? You have to know how people handle disappointment, how they react when something doesn't go well, right? How they handle finances, like different storms that are going to come up, right? Because if you don't get to know how someone is when you do disagree about something, right? Like you said, you don't know if somebody is capable of having a conversation or if they're going to explode, right? You got to know people just like really carry themselves in different situations, right? And environments. But I do agree that it is what we grow up seeing, right? Like I had the benefit, although I had the benefit of not seeing some good relationships. I had the benefit of watching my aunt, my dad's sister, and her husband, who were married to death do them part. Right, 67 years, right, and they got married probably in their 20s or something, right? So you would hear that, but was it always easy? No, right? But they had a level of respect for one another. They communicated with one another. They did things together, but they also understood the importance of also having their own interests and doing things apart, right? And so for a lot of us in the family, they were the ones that we were like, oh my God, like we're looking for this, right? But we're not finding it, right? But it's funny because you see that growing up. It doesn't mean you always end up in that same type of situation, although you have that. Because I will tell you, like, they were like the true, like, I remember my uncle being in the hospital with tubes, couldn't even talk. And my aunt just staring in his eyes, and they were having a conversation by just looking in each other's eyes, right? And so, for me, that was like, I was like, okay, this is possible, right? Like this is possible. It might take some work, but that's the thing. A lot of us, and I'm not going to say a lot of us, I think the younger me probably didn't have it in me to do the work, right? And so as you mature, I think you get to know yourself, right? You become self-aware. You, like a lot of us have already said, right? We stop looking at what that person is doing and have to look at some of our own traits and habits. I think then you're like, okay, am I going to make the decision to work? Because it's a choice.
Mm-hmm.
It's like healing is, I say all the time, Dawn, healing is a choice. The same thing, right? Making a relationship, being in a partnership with someone, that's a choice.
Yep.
You gotta choose to do the work.
That's right.
You got to make up your mind. I want to read some comments before because they going off in the chat. So
Yeah.
I'm
Edward to do it.
Listen, I'm not even.
But I agree, Paris. I agree.
Yes, Edwin is special. Yes, Edwin is special. And she says, Dawn, Edwin must be a friend of yours. He is a character. Yes, he is a friend of mine. It's amazing how people can just pick out who my people are. It's amazing. I love it. But yes, he he is. Zenja says, yes, Dawn, we have to heal that generational trauma. We do. It is very, very
Break the
important.
generational curse.
Yeah,
You have
break it, destroy it. Yeah,
welcome in,
destroy it.
London. I see you. Hold on. I just want to make sure we get to. Oh Lord, here we go. Evan, I tell all my dates I like Folgers and Krispy Kremes in the morning, and when it comes to
This dude, boy, I swear.
That's why I said I didn't have the energy, Rock. I didn't have the energy.
I see now, sis.
I can't do it. You gotta love Evan. You gotta love it. He's like this all the time. This is from sunrise to sunset. So you're part of the family, Edwin. You're part of the family. Paris says, I think that was an excellent um, statement. You didn't have it in you to do the work. Exactly. And it's sad. I know that I didn't have it in me to do the work. Like I said earlier, with Eric and I was just like got to the point where I was like, it's not that I don't love you, it's not that I don't care, and all of that, because we was together for a while. I said, but I don't know how to get myself out of this space. I don't know how. I don't know how to move forward. I don't know how to move forward in this space. I know how to move forward with me, you know. But if I had the tools then and had the understanding then, at least I could have tried better or shown up better. I mean, it still would have made, it's still going to end up with the same result. You know what I'm saying? But it would have made for a cleaner situation with less damage to each other. Because I firmly believe everybody ends up where you belong when you get yourself in alignment. So you end up with who you're supposed to be with, and it's okay. But, maybe this relationship was for us to learn, these things to work some of these things out, to move this way. Paris says some men are ready for marriage right away too. It's not all us. No, it's not. Hey, 360 coaching, how are you? Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Landis says like that we need to do better in relationships, shift the rules or rewrite expectations. I know in the marriage there is a lot of huddle up. Yep, there is. There is absolutely, and there should be. Edwin said, cooking is the key to happiness. Lord Jesus, it is one of them to making you happy. Zen just says sometimes people are just insistent on holding you to your past. Yep. And that's true. And I would be the first one to admit I was guilty of that. Again, because I didn't know how to get past an offense and a misunderstanding. So, I had to definitely go do my work after that, and I had to come back and apologize. I had to apologize to Eric, and we can't be so, as Mel said in the beginning, that pride. So,
So, Dawn, let me just answer this question from Paris. So, my aunt and uncle met in high school, Paris, and they got married, I would say probably in their 20s. So, because she asked how long did they date before they said I do. Yeah, so they met in high school, and actually my aunt actually told my uncle like she wasn't going to date him unless he would go to class and do what he was supposed to do in school. But they met in high school, and then they got, I think, married not too long after they graduated.
She also asked it.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I just wanted to say, my aunt and uncle was married for 51 years.
Yeah,
so when my aunt passed, September 11th of 21, because my mom passed in, I believe, she passed in May of 21. And I'm sorry, May of 20. And then my aunt passed 6 months later. She passed September 11th. And then my uncle passed the following year. And he basically, he couldn't go on without her. Because he said that was my muse.
Wow.
For her. And he was a professor at Lehman College. And my aunt was, he was a professor of mathematics. And my aunt was a financial analyst for a company that was down in the World Trade Center. So, the World Trade Center twice.
Wow.
Yeah, she was there for both bombers. But when we went back, going back to how we were saying how, you watch TV, the Cosbys, and you want the family to be like that and so forth. My aunt and uncle created that structure not only for their kids, but for me and my cousins as well, because we all grew up together. So
Yeah.
anytime we went to my uncle's house, that's what we had. We had the hopsicles. You know what I'm saying? We had the game night,
Yeah.
everybody watching TV together, doing karaoke and singing and so forth. We had all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we look forward to going up to my uncle's house every weekend. We look
Yep.
forward to them getting us just on like a Friday night. I remember them coming to pick me up like 1 o'clock in the morning. And it was like, yo, let's go.
Yeah.
And we went someplace way upstate. We went to a Holiday Inn and we went to ranch the following day. It was stuff like that. They would always take us. They was taking us somewhere, and all because they knew that um, it was just my mother. It was just my aunt. So my uncle and my aunt made sure that my uncle was the father figure in our lives for the ones who didn't have fathers.
Yeah. Nice.
Also, I always looked up to my uncle and everything. So I
And
made sure
it's
that my son made sure, you know what I'm saying, your father was always going to be in your life. And
Mm.
every family function that we had, I always made sure that I was able to take him so he knows his family.
Yeah.
yeah, because you wasn't gonna leave him there, but he was because he was crazy. I
He was
said
my
you ain't
best.
got.
Yeah.
I made him my best man at my wedding
Wow.
because
I,
Nice.
that was
I
important
said,
to
look,
me.
sir, you may not have to pay child support, but you surely gonna have to be present. Like so it's like
Listen,
we're not
I
doing
wanted to
that.
teach. I wanted to teach him more responsibility. So I put him in that role of being my best man, and I told him, as my best man, you got to make a speech. He didn't have anything written down. He just said what he had to say off the dome, and that brought me to tears and
It's
everything. So you got to do certain things to help uplift, to make sure you uplift your sons as well as your daughters.
Mhm.
that is true. That is true. So before we wrap up this conversation, this is great. Again, we never know what way this conversation is going to take. I love free, open, guided conversation because wherever the sweet spot is that we need to land, that's where we're going to stick and stay because that's the place that's helping people. Um, but this book has opened up so many other levels of conversation, and I promise you, y'all, everything that we touched on tonight is somewhere touched upon in this book. I'm trying to tell you. So make sure you go get it. I'm divorced now. What? Who thought that a divorce would have so many branches, like the tree? That
Yes.
all of these different angles and things that we never think about that are built up within a marriage. And that just goes to tell you that marriage is not just that one day. It creates so many other veins of life that we have to, and that's why when it comes to the divorce it is hard because now you don't even realize the different veins that you've created until it's time to now detach and detangle, and it's like, oh man, who knew that I built this, who knew that we did that, who knew, because you didn't have it when you started. So that's key. But I want to kind of end with this point. Melvin wrote 3 chapters in this book. I'm telling y'all, go to Amazon, go to Barnes and Noble, go to bookpatch.com and go get I'm Divorced Now What by Melvin Phillips. It is a collection of testimonials, and we're going to bring him and the ladies back, those who can, and we're going to continue this conversation. But I want to also just point out in chapter 8, Melvin, you wrote the title of this is Understanding the Emotional Journey of Divorce. Do you remember
Mhm.
writing that?
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. And he says divorce is often compared to grief because it involves deep emotional loss. And you point out some of the things. You brought up 5 points: the denial, the anger, the bargaining, the depression, and the acceptance. And I think that these are really key
Mm.
things because when we're going through divorce, our emotions are all over the place. And it is so hard to give language to it and to identify them. So, can you share with us? Maybe not everything, however you want to put it, with this chapter, like what is something that we need to know about how to understand the different emotions that we are experiencing along this journey, because divorce is a journey. So any way you want to.
Um, well, just real quick, just the one pointer. Divorce is almost equivalent to death. You know, it depends on the person because I know some people that have gotten divorced and they never came back. You know, to being the person that they were. Of course, you're not, but they just totally spazzed out. They different, and they they're not you know, talkative no more. They're not open minded no more. They just everything's just closed in and they beat themselves up. That's part of the depression part. But my me deal with that because I went through it all in a mix at the same time. You know, one week I would be like this, another week I would be like that, and another week I would be like that. And I had to try to identify myself to learn how to empty out, you know, learn not to die in the process, you know, learn how to live again in the process. So as I wrote different 3 chapters and different pointers back when I was in Atlanta, and I was like, I got to get this book out when I'm out here in Atlanta. And then God had it another way when I came closer up back up north to be like, okay, now it's time because everything was timing. And then, you know, it just happened a month ago for me putting the book out. I think I was equivalent to, you know, burials. And when my mother passed, grandmother, my mother was the oldest of 9. She was a New York City detective, you know, so different things, you know, just everybody around me doing the COVID passing and just different things. So, of course, I equivalent that to divorce because some people didn't know how to handle it. Then yet, some people, okay, let me put it like this real quick because it's getting good. Some people that did have underlying sicknesses and different things could have prevented from dying from the COVID, but they didn't take care of themselves. You feel me? They didn't do. Now, God put these doctors here for a reason. He ain't just put doctors here to try to take your money or give you medicine. Or no, it's different reasons to help you and guide you to what you need to do. Lose weight, bring that pressure down, go exercise more, drink more water, eat this fruit, don't eat that fruit. You know what I'm saying? Stay stress free. You see, because stress is the number one killer. Also, just different things like that. And I think that's the same with divorce. When we get divorced, it's like, oh, they on her side now. They wasn't on my side, so they was against me. So a lot of things that you seen is starting to happening. Now you getting stressed out. Now you going to court. Now this and that. They want money for this and all this stuff coming about where you have to like really structure it, and it's like a puzzle. Put the pieces back together again to figure it out. To put it with God. God, how I'm gonna do this? How I'm gonna situate this? God, you have to ask Him all the time, every time, because sometimes you ain't gonna be able to move, and it's gonna be a mishap. So with the depression, with the upsetting of I did this. Why did I do it? You know, why did I do it? What made me do this? You have to figure it out. Because I'm just talking about me. I have to empty different things out. Did I really wanted to do that? Or I just did that because she pissed me off? I was going back and forth with myself. You know? Now the girl, the young lady put the therapy. Did we seek therapy? I seeked a little bit of it, but God was my therapy. Because no, really not against the therapist, because I love them. I think everybody need them. But I really needed a manna from heaven. I needed a word. And I started going through YouTube. He started giving it to me from YouTube, from Miles Monroe, Dr. Miles Monroe, from different preachers I was listening to. And I was just jotting it down from A to Z. And it all came lined up. It lined up perfectly for me. My ear was to his voice. And I was like, yo, word? That don't make sense. What don't make sense to us makes sense to him. So I'm gonna just go ahead and do it. What I got to lose? Because I already lost her and other things. So let me do this. And it came to fruition, right? From A to Z, came to pass. Now I'm at a point right now that I'm still at the start of it was what 6 years for me now? 5, 6 years for me now. I'm still at the starting over point, and I'm loving it because I'm still finding out different things about me. You know, because I've been married for 20. I was married for 25 years, so I just jumped, you know, and that was it. You know, I did do my player thing back in the days, high school. I played football, college football. I did what I did. You know what I mean? But when I got married, you know, I didn't understand the values. I didn't understand the union part because it's oneness. I didn't. It's just a lot of things I didn't understand that I clearly understand now. And marriage is not hard. We just make it so
We make it
doggone
hard,
hard.
right? Yes.
You know, that thing is not hard at
Yeah.
all. If
Nope.
we just learn how to open our mouths and said, babe, I don't like that, and I don't like you right now. Let me go down. You just
That
be,
part.
just
We
be transparent. You know,
Yeah.
and
It becomes
nobody.
hard when selfishness enters the marriage.
Yes,
Yeah.
amen. So yeah, and
Yeah.
then when selfishness, and then when we let these have non-Negroes in our marriage, then all this other stuff. You feel me?
Right.
The social media and stuff, all this, because everything in social media ain't peaches and cream. They show it. Oh,
Come
do
Yeah.
this for your baby, do that for your. No, show me when y'all arguing. When you threw the
Exactly.
pot at him in the bedroom because he said something. Show me that part. Yeah. You know, don't show me the good part because we know it ain't all good. Stop lying.
Yeah.
Y'all lying over here. We understand y'all want to smooth it out and it's cute, but be transparent with me. Be for real. Oh, that's what's gonna happen if I do this.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't want to go that route. I don't want no. I don't want to see that. So I ain't gonna do that part because child, the storm, just like God speaks, the devil speaks too. And he's on his
Yeah.
job 24/7. And he listens to what he's saying. He's listening to the platform, what we talking on saying, and he's intervening in certain things like, oh, he said that. Okay, I'm gonna do this for his marriage. I'm gonna irk somebody. I'm gonna call somebody. I'm gonna make her say this. I'm gonna make her say just the little things, just to build it up to make it big. But we know how to bind them and be like, yo, go ahead with that. Because you ain't coming in the middle of this marriage or this middle of this relationship or this middle of this friendship, whatever we got going on. You're not coming in the middle of it because he's listening. Because he sent his imps out to divide all of us. And we are blessed to each every one of us on this platform and to people that's outside of the platform. Because somebody got to hear it to be like, you know what, I was gonna go down that route, but guess what? I had a change of thought because I heard Dawn, I heard E, I heard the platform, and let me go this route because God did it. He spoke. She said this. I'm in it. You know what I mean? So let me rock this out, and we don't even have to know what it was. You feel me?
That's
So
right.
that's where it's at.
That's
It's
right.
kind of like a service, right? Like it's being of service to each other, right? Supporting
Yes.
one another, doing things for each other out of kindness, and just being thoughtful, and like I think Paris said, being selfless,
Self.
right?
Yeah.
But I think the one thing people need to understand is what you said is communication. I mean, I think we complicate stuff so much because
Yes.
we fail to communicate, we fail to talk, but most of all, and I will say, I'm not going to say for men so much, and I'm not going to say all women, but I think also, and I taught this self because of my profession, right? But you have to learn how to listen, to hear, and not
To
listen,
listen, to respond.
right? Because I think in relationships, a lot of us listen and we're not really hearing what the person is saying because we're trying to
Listen to
we're ready for
understand.
the comeback,
Yes.
right? Like he gonna say this, I'm gonna say that. He gonna say like we done had the argument in our head before it really even happened.
You have
Right?
6 versions of the argument, not just one. Because just in case if he say this,
Right.
Exactly.
But
So
you
I
know
think
what's so
that's so
go ahead,
key, that
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go
communication.
ahead. Uh-huh.
No, go ahead, but I think that's so key, that communication.
You know what my aunt said years ago, and she's a therapist, and she's so dope. We really don't talk like that no more because, of course, my ex-wife was like her daughter, so everything just went twisted. So she like want to get the belt buckle and just whoop me every time she see me.
Yeah.
But she said a long time ago, and I should have took heed. She said, "Oh, y'all getting in an argument? Y'all fussing and fighting? Y'all doing this?" She told my ex-wife at the time and me. She said, go in that room and get butt naked. Yeah, this was she said. She said, let me tell you something. Go in that room and get butt naked. Come out that room butt naked. All the things you was arguing at that point in time, that second,
nobody cared no more.
Nobody care.
No,
it would just
Especially if you're
drop.
doing it right.
Right.
Oh,
You
oh,
do
you have to
it, yeah.
remember.
Because you gotta do it right. You gotta present it right.
Yeah, yeah,
And
you got,
he look
yeah.
and she look and you be like,
She loving
presentation.
you now, boy.
yeah, the presentation. You know how women are. I ain't playing with you. No, I ain't gonna do it. Stop. You know that. You know I like this.
Well, make me forget what I was mad about. Right. Make me forget what I was mad about. Now, what
You got to do the baby boy afterwards. Come out and do the eggs in the kitchen butt naked.
Right.
You want some
Right.
food in your eggs, baby?
Exactly.
Because
Right?
let me tell you something. Because
with the heels, with the stilettos
with
on.
the
Yeah.
that there you go. Because what it does is it at that time when it's heated, it dilutes it. So
Yep.
after you do your session or whatever how you present it, and then y'all in bed pillow talking, then y'all could talk reasonably like, babe, I'm sorry, you know what? It wasn't nothing. Because it could have been over.
Yeah.
It could have been over something that was in the freezer from 3 months ago and you ain't take it out. And it built up an argument. You want to take her head off and his head off.
You
And
know my
so
wife?
like, you don't do it like that. You ain't gonna do it like you gonna do it like that, big girl.
and so my aunt and I wrote it down and I used to and I the methods that she told me, I forgot it because I was in myself and so proud. And I was like, oh, I ain't doing it. But now that I know in this next season in my life, oh, you want to play? Oh, all right. I got that time for a cologne. Don't make me come out with no suit and that shirt. Listen. And so you know now, so because you're diluting the fire. You're putting the fire out right then and there because you're a union. You know what she like, you know her fragrance. She know what you like, you know her fragrance. So you be like, oh, I got a trick for you. You run in the room or run downstairs and get something. Watch, I'll be back. I got something for you. I'm coming back. You be mad and pissed off, and you come back. You be like, what is your? Oh Lord.
Ladies, if they're gonna play like that, I'm gonna tell y'all like we did on the After Dark show. Mel, you're gonna have to come on the After Dark show. We gotta
Okay.
I'm I got you. Like we did on the After Dark show, ladies. Since Mel is giving the men some advice, you know what I'm saying? I know it's men's month, but I'm just saying. So, ladies, I'm only talking to y'all. You go get you some indoor shoes, okay? You get you some. All right, get them as high as you possibly can with the red bottles. Make sure that your ankles is lotioned, your whole leg from the tip of your toe, okay, to the top of your hip. All right, now these are shoes. All right, because it's after 8:30. It's after so I can talk about it.
And don't forget the trench coat.
See what I'm saying?
Trench coat. See?
Acting.
Y'all know.
Acting, it might not even be no trench coat because we ain't worried about it because that might be too much. I just might need to go put my shoes on. But you talking crazy? Okay, I'm putting my shoes on. The shoes don't touch the floor. They actually touch the ceiling. If you're doing it right, they touch the ceiling. I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. Since Mel go there.
That's all it is. It's a that's what my aunt and I tell you that I used to forget, and then even when after my divorce and I was in Atlanta and I went somewhere with a friend and I sat there in the car and everything just started coming back. What she told me, only reason you could have diluted that argument if you would have just did that pattern, and it kept registered in my house. I said in my head, I said, oh my God, that's crazy. Because when you see someone, you like, oh, is he going to get something? Or what he going to get? Or what's she going to get? Who she thinks she is? And she come out, like you said, with the stilettos, some fishnets, hair up in the air. You going to be like, oh, and we men. So you know how we think. We be like, oh, it's on and popping. Oh, okay. We talking. And you ain't thinking about that no more.
Right. And it relieves stress.
Yes.
It takes all the emotion out of it, like a bag, just like a bag. Listen.
I want to know what Paris and Edwin are talking about in this chat.
They having their own fight down there. This is what happens on Thursday nights. You can't get this nowhere else, y'all. It's always on Thursday nights, right?
They're having a whole fight.
We do. This is what happens on the Bravo Network. When we with the Bravo Nation, this is how we roll. We just keep it real. I told y'all we have real talk with real people with real resolutions. So
and Rock, Paris wanted to know if you talk because she said you kind of quiet.
Oh, Rock does talk. Listen,
That's what I said. I said Rock talk a lot.
Rock will y'all wait and see what Rock is about. Okay, when Rock
Oh,
start
there you go.
talking,
Bring
then
it
y'all
in.
gonna be like, okay, Dawn. I'm like, no, right. Like I'm trying to tell y'all, don't get it started. Don't do it. Leave my brother alone.
Don't poke the
Let
bear.
him be at peace. No,
Don't poke
yeah,
the
because
bear.
Does he sleep?
I'm too far to pull him back. Though. I can't. Sometimes I have like maybe a 3 second window where I might be able to catch him. Other than that, I can't do it. So we not gonna poke him tonight. We not gonna poke him.
We've been there a
Um.
couple of times, some baby sis.
Oh yeah. I've saved quite a few lives. I think I need a medal. I've saved some. I've saved some lives, big time. Well, listen, y'all. This has been great because we'll be here until forever. I ain't got no problem with it because tomorrow's a short day for me. But we definitely have to have a part two and bring Mel back and talk. Some more. We're gonna get Mel in on the after dark conversation because he just gotta bring all that. He
Yeah,
gotta
he'll
bring
be good for that. Yeah.
after.
Me, him, and Eric.
What day and
Lord,
Yeah.
time? Just tell me the day and the time.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah, come on.
okay, so I'm gonna tell y'all right now, since y'all asking, the entire month of August is gonna be after dark conversation. So yeah, we gonna wrap up the.
Don't come with your feelings on your sleeve. Don't
Please
don't
don't.
don't don't come with offenses.
This
We bringing it. We bringing it. Us men bringing it. We bringing
okay,
it.
and
You know what I
let's
mean? You know
let's
what I
just
mean? We
What?
bringing it.
let's just be
Yeah.
clear. After dark, this ain't church. Okay, this
All
is not.
right.
It ain't.
It ain't church for me anytime. Even though I'm in church, it ain't church. But hey,
I'm
I'm just
just. I gotta inform the people. I gotta let the people know. And on Thursday nights is not church, but again, our moral compass is God, so that's what we refer to. But I'm just saying, we have real grown folk, adult conversation, no hold barred. We keep it 1,000, and you come on and learn something here. Now I'm just saying, so we gonna get that on and popping, but. I do want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Please, if you haven't hit that thumbs up button, please do so. And even those who are in the silent section, we appreciate you. I love y'all and always appreciate you hanging out. Where else can you get this type of conversation that's just real talk, that's just a living breath of its own? Nowhere but here on Thursday night. So me, your girl, Lady Dawn B. We keep it 1,000%. So of course we gotta give thanks to Sir Eric, Mr. Rockology, my sis Coach Steele, and of course our special guest who's no longer a guest. He's fam, my dude Mel is in the house with his awesome book.
MP.
Now what now? If you don't know now what by now, and we didn't even touch half of the stuff. Like you just did. So you
Nah.
go get the book, y'all. Go get the book on bookpatch.com or on was it Barnes and Nobles right
Yeah,
now. Working on
yeah,
getting it on Amazon, but
yeah.
go get it because we're gonna bring him and the other authors back on. We're gonna figure out what's a good Thursday for them to come on, and we
Right.
wrap it up some more so that we can really dig into this. Because as you see, divorce is not just one clean level. There are many branches to it, and we all need to glean from this information, whether you're married or not. Because if you can get this information before you get into a marriage, you have a better chance of having a successful marriage. Again, relationships don't fail; people do. Marriage, there's nothing wrong with marriage. It's people. It's us. So let's do the work on us. So as we end and wrap it up tonight, I want to ask this question to everybody. Um, to give your quick answer. Oh, I love you too, Paris. I absolutely love you too, sis. You already know. Um, our last thoughts and final comments. My question is to everybody is after we've had this, what do you know now that you didn't know before? We're talking about divorce, we're talking about relationships, we're talking about marriage. What do you know now that you didn't know before that you could share with someone to move forward? So we're going to go from Eric to Rock to Theo and give final comments to, I can't even call him a guest no more. To our fam, to the man of the hour, as Rock calls him. Well,
MP.
come on, E. What do you know now that you didn't know before?
Patience.
Oh,
and understanding.
very
I
good.
really didn't know that before. I
No,
know that now because I'm
yes, you do.
and
That's good.
it took a lot of growing for me to understand the patience and understanding that is needed for a successful relationship.
That's good. That's a good one. Patience and
The setup is
understanding.
the setup.
No, that's
What
good.
what happened, Rock? I took your
Because
I
she
took
always
your
makes you
thoughts
go
again.
first because she know you gonna say what I'm gonna say, and then I gotta think of something else. She want my brain to go working.
I
Shit.
didn't know, bro. I didn't know. I didn't.
Everything that Eric said, patience and understanding. But what I would add to it is delivery.
Mm,
It's a good one. Yep.
okay.
Your delivery can make it all wrong if your delivery is off.
Patience, understanding, and delivery. Come on, Coach Theo.
I would say for me, it is really just understanding and have and empathy, right? And grace. I think as I have matured, the one thing I learned just in general in intimate relationships and non-intimate relationships is that we have to give people a level of grace because you never know what someone is dealing with and what their experience has been. So I
Right.
think for me that is the biggest thing is really just giving people grace.
Right.
Okay. That's good. Grace. We got patience, understanding, delivery,
The amount of grace that you will want for yourself, you give them the same.
Yeah.
grace. All right.
Mhm.
Uh, come on, Mel. Last and final words are in your hands, sir.
I ain't gonna drop the ball. Nah, it's all the above that everybody on the panel has said, especially grace, because you have to have an open heart and the mindset and not move so instantly or cut everybody or cut the person off or cut everybody off to just give them the understanding because everybody learns on different levels, everybody is different, so you have to give that grace, you have to give that listening ear, you have to give that understanding, you have to give that little bit of trust, same way that God do us every day, we have
Yeah.
to do it as for each other the same way. To say it don't have to be the exact way, but you have to do it the same way as he give it to us. He woke
Mhm.
us up this morning. He gave us grace and mercy for another day to get it
Yeah.
together, to do what we need to do, and that's how we should do other people. You know,
Hmm.
give it that part right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That part. Well, you heard it right here. You heard it from the author himself. You heard it from the Thursday night team. And we hope that this conversation has been helpful for you. Go buy the book so you are ready to dialogue. Ask these men and women who have contributed to this amazing work some questions. Let's find out how they did it, how you're doing it, how they're hanging in there, so that guess what? You don't have to go down the hard way if you can avoid it. Because you know what? We too old now at this big old age. Okay, we
Mhm.
got to do better. So I want to thank everyone for coming on tonight. I want to especially thank Mel for being here.
Yes.
Final thoughts and comments on the topic would simply be this. I realized through it all that hearts really don't break. They're built, our hearts are built with an automatic bounce back, like the palm tree.
Resilience.
You think about exactly the things and the relationships that we have been in, the pieces of our hearts that we've given away. And truthfully speaking, you haven't lost any part of your heart that you could not be without.
Yeah.
So that you still have enough heart to start over. The best is yet to come. Your better is always before you. And it's not a loss. As Big Brother Rock said, it's a lesson. And so, roll with that. Give yourself the opportunity to do better, to feel better, and to come better and show up differently. So I'm your girl, Lady Dawn B. It's been another great Thursday night here on the Bravo with Sheila Network. I salute you all for hanging in there, but again, this is just kicking off June. So I don't know, those coming behind you, Mel, they gonna have a hard way to go because you said it all right. This is Men's Mental Health Month, and Mel just kicked it off so right. But tune in next Thursday night on June the 12th. We're gonna have author Justin Wilson with us. The name of his book is Courageous Vulnerability. We're gonna have another one of our African American authors, and he's gonna be on with us. And we're going to be talking about compassion and vulnerability when it comes to our men. So, ladies, come to the paper, get your drink, be ready to lean in, and let's learn something. I love y'all. Have a great night. May your Friday be amazing. Go be great, as we always say. Panel, hang out with me for 2 seconds as we wrap up the show. Good night, everybody. I love y'all.
Good night. Good night. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
I snuggle my dream till it's seen as illegal. And I still probably will, cause I can never give up. I got my goals calling me, how could I never pick up? Either we make up or just break up, and the snake hits get the rake up. Yeah, selfish, I'ma cake up if I don't shake me to wake up. Let my depression catapult me to succession. Shine a light on my imperfections like a projection. Every struggle a lesson, your issues ain't your oppression. Never got a question, keep pushing me to progression like I'ma make the rest of my life. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life.